Jeff.
Brent.
We are
YouTube.
YouTube.
Hello.
Jeff. What a good freaking run of TV we've been in, man.
I don't know, man. It's been pretty boring stuff. It's just so pedestrian.
Nobody believes you right now.
Dude, this one's so good. We'll talk about it. But like my wife got into this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one.
There was a line. Like there was a line and she was like, she had her computer, she's doing something else. There's a line. We'll talk about it. But literally line happens. She goes, oh, and stops and starts watching. It's just like, I'm like, yeah, look at that.
There you go. That's fun. That's fun. Well, I don't want to delay this any longer. Guys, we are here to record our podcast episode covering the season 3 episode 10.
10.
Wow. Season 3 episode. Wow. This feels like we just started season 3.
I know, right?
Severed Dreams. This is the one I've been waiting for, Jeff. One we've been waiting for. This is our podcast recording. Jeff and I are about to record a podcast that's going to go out there to the audio folks later, but you guys get all the behind the scenes footage. You get the gag reels, you get the bloopers, you get the rabbit trails, all that stuff Jeff's going to cut out, and you get to see how we do this thing called a podcast.
Do you remember, Brent, gosh, a year ago, a little over a year ago, when we started this little adventure?
Has it been?
And wow. Yeah, it was May of 2022 that we started. I think it might have been Memorial Day weekend, actually.
Okay.
So end of May for all of our international viewers out there. But we're like, the tool we're using does video, and we're like, hey, we're doing the video. We might as well put it on YouTube and see what happens. And so a couple of weeks ago, I think it might have been Messages from Earth. We talked about, we just had an hour and a half long pre-production meeting. I am hopeful that YouTube, have observed a marked quality improvement in what we're putting out there.
Yeah.
It's just so fun to me how what was the thing that was like, well, we might as well put it on YouTube because we have video anyway, has literally become the show.
Yeah, this really is the show. This is the show about the show, but this is the show.
Yeah.
This is where everything happens. So you guys out there, make sure you like, subscribe. You all know how YouTube works. Comment down below. Jeff and I are going to do our best to get to all of those comments. There's a lot of them these days. So
and thank you for that.
Thank you for that. I will tell you, Jeff and I at least read them all, even if we don't respond, because when you're trying to respond to that many, it takes time.
And we do this every week. Like this show just keeps going.
Right. And you'd be surprised at what it takes to prepare a podcast and record and edit and push out and promote and all that sort of stuff. Like our weeks are packed.
Yeah.
Back to front. And I'm doing the reaction videos, and you've got some that you're doing for Patreon and all that sort of stuff. I don't know that we could go any faster than what we're going right now. So anyway,
love to. It'd be cool, but here we are.
All of that said, Jeff, I don't want to delay this at all anymore. Severed Dreams, fantastic episode. I want to get in and talk about it. Let's go.
First time.
You're new here, Horace.
Someday, somewhere, I'll make a difference.
It's a mockery.
I mean, we're not some deep space franchise. This station is about something.
The year is 2023. The name of the podcast, Babylon 5, for the first time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time, not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and I am watching Babylon 5 for the first time.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I'm also watching Babylon 5 for the first time. Jeff and I are two veteran Star Trek podcasters watching Babylon 5 for the first time, and in this show, we are searching for what we like to call Star Trek-esque messages in the series, and just trying to decide how awesome this series is in and of itself.
And what might become a problem for us later in this episode, we are not Star Trek podcasters, right? So we play a game.
No, we are.
What the heck did I just...
I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. We are Star Trek podcasters.
I'm going to be okay, people. I was literally trying to run through because I want to start talking about this thing. Okay. And what'll likely become a problem for us here lately because we are Star Trek podcasters.
Try that one more time.
We are. Did I say that right?
You said, and what's likely to become a problem for us lately?
Lately.
Later.
Jeez. Hold on.
I don't have the script. I just know that that's what you're trying to say. Try it again. See, I told you guys would get the bloopers, the outtakes.
And what is likely to become a problem for us here later, because we are Star Trek podcasters, is those references to that show. So we play a game called the Rule of Three that limits us to only 3 references apiece.
That's it. 3. 1, 2, 3. No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
Hey, Brent.
Hey, Jeff.
We have a 5-star review.
Oh, yes.
This one is on Good Pods from Nico Mack, and it is very short and it is very to the point. Nico Mack says, loving the show, but you have no idea. I think they meant that in a cool way. Like, we have no idea what we're getting into or something.
Yeah. Nico, thank you. And you're right. We have no idea. None. Please don't tell us. Don't give us the idea.
Right. We'll come up with them on our own.
You know what I feel like we harp on this all the time, Jeff. But the truth is we have so many people who are joining the show right now who haven't heard us harp on this. But when we talk about spoilers, guys, a piece of that, let me give you one piece that has recently cropped up for me. Especially now that we're this far into the show, right? Making all the connections of stuff that we've missed from season 1 and season 2 that are getting brought up now. And here's the thing. When Jeff and I ask questions, those are really rhetorical questions to let you guys know what's going on in our heads. We are not actually asking you to answer them unless we look into the camera and go, please answer this question as long as it's not a spoiler. If we do that, then cool. But generally speaking, it's not really a question we're asking. And we would rather discover the answer than have the answer told to us.
Well, there's real stakes here. Like, people, we've talked about doing Babylon 5 for the second time.
Yeah.
But if you give us all the answers, there's no point. There's no reason to do it for a second time.
Yeah.
So don't rob us of that opportunity, and don't rob yourself of
don't rob the community, because you're right. That second watch is where all of that comes in, where we go, oh, I can't believe I missed that. Oh, that was all this plays into that and all that. Like that's going to be that show. And
18 months, right? In 18 months, we're going to watch Soul Hunter and we're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe we hated this episode.
Right. And so here's the thing that I would say to you guys out there who are just chomping at the bit, being, oh, but did you notice this? And what do you think about this? Like, I love that. Jeff loves that. We are 100% in for that on the second watch. And when we get to the second watch, take all the reins off, because we want every single bit of it. We want all the background information. We want all the spoilers. We want all the lurkers guide. We want everything on the second watch.
Yeah.
For right now, let's stay in, because honestly, Jeff and I are just doing good to keep track of the names and just the overall plot point right now. Like that's where we are right now in our watch.
If you are desperate and you can't stop the flow of, I know this and I know that, and I have to tell you, we have a place you can do that.
Good call, Jeff. Good call.
Go to patreon.com/Babylon5 first, the number 5, the word first. We have a Discord server and there's a sector there. I believe it's Red Sector.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have access. Brent and I don't have access.
I even forget that it's there because it's not on my screen.
Yeah. So go there. We don't have access. You can talk about anything, right? Yeah. You can call us idiots. You can laugh. You can be like, how did they know this? Whatever. It's all fair game. If you can't restrain yourself, head there. Also, supports the show, and we love you for doing that.
We do. And to all of you out there who are doing your best to help keep us spoiler free, thank you so much. Please keep that up. And to everyone who's new and joining us, if you feel like we've pointed a finger at you, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being enthusiastic about the show and come with us on this journey. We love having you here. And Nico, you're awesome. Thank you. And you're right. We have no idea.
Well, hey, over on our Twitter at Babylon First, Mandrop, who's at SGDannyMG, has some pretty cool commentary on Londo. Says, Londo is the perfect cast member to turn into the villain if you think about it. He's a buffoon. He's easy to understand. He's hopefully romantic, which generally is going to make him easy to corrupt. Plus, we've both laughed at him and with him.
Jeff, I gotta be honest with you, man.
Yeah.
I know I've said the words here on the show, but I still have a hard time thinking of Londo as a villain.
Really?
I really do. Like, I still, like, as I don't want him to be the villain. I don't like him as the villain. He's the guy who got corrupted by the villain, not the villain himself. Like, that's the way I really kind of hold Londo. And I don't want Londo to be the villain. And I don't want people to tell me that he's the villain and confirm that he's a villain, because I don't want him to be the villain. I like Londo.
He's a villain just as much as Darth Vader was. Like, he's doing horrible things and he revels in it a lot. But you're right. He was corrupted by Palpatine. Palpatine's the villain.
Right.
And the whole thing, Vader was a victim. We got that to come around and Return of the Jedi. Don't know if we're going to get that here in Babylon 5.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor I've been sticking to with Londo the whole time. But right now, today, in Severed Dreams, dude's a villain.
Yeah. Although he was also really funny in this episode too.
Villains can be funny. It's okay. It's okay. He got some comeuppance in this one. We'll get to talk about.
He did. Oh, it's so good. It was so
great.
good. He deserved every bit of it.
He did. Well, that's all I've got for sharing stuff today.
Well, Jeff, that's not all I got.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Because the time has come, Jeff. The time has come to pay the piper. The time has come to take a look at what our predictions were last week, as we do at the end of every episode, another game that we love to play, and see how correct we were. So, Jeff, I will ask you, do you remember what you predicted last week Severed Dreams would be about, and how close were you?
100%. This is the one. I said Sheridan makes his stand and pulls Babylon 5 away from Earth. Brent, you and I both called this in the season 2 wrap up. We thought this was coming. It was going to happen. And here we are.
I honestly don't even remember what it was that made us start saying that. Like overall, it's this seems like the natural flow. It seems like where the writing's leading, but I honestly don't remember what it was coming out of season 2.
I think it was the title. I think it was the name of season 3. I think our conversation, if I remember right,
was it?
Is when we were going. I'm like, it's called
Return.
Point of No Return, and we're like, well, gosh, that's the only point we could think of, and especially the Night Watch stuff was starting to ramp up at that point.
Yeah, and I remember saying it in season 2, and then I think I forgot about it for like 4 or 5 episodes, and then I was like, hey, so I was thinking about this, and I think this might be where it's going. It seems to be getting closer and closer to that, and I mean, Jeff, you nailed it. You nailed it better than I did. I also said this is the one where Babylon 5 breaks away from Earth. That was my prediction. However, I said that the way it would work, because that's the thing that's been confusing me, is how does a station which is being administered and ran by Earth Force as a government, how do they break away? Like, what is the function of that? And I want to talk about that later on in this episode. But what I said was, since the Narns have now come in as the new security force on board, the Night Watch, President Clark was going to reaffirm the order for Night Watch to take over. And it was going to be this war kind of between the Narns and the Night Watch. And the Narns were basically going to win. And that's how we were going to, I guess, militarily seize Babylon 5 and take control of it, is what I was thinking. But no, that's not at all what happened. However, Babylon 5 definitely, I mean, in a clear line of demarcation, said, this is it. We're away.
Well, Brent, it's time for you to just tell everybody that exactly. If you have not seen this episode in a while, if you're watching along with us and need a little reminder, or if you aren't watching at all and just listening to us anyway, Brent, break it down. What happened in Severed Dreams?
Well, 2 weeks ago, President Clark declared martial law. Last week, Sheridan used a technicality to defy EarthGov. And this week, EarthGov is coming to get Sheridan and Babylon 5. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Our episode opens on Londo complaining very loudly while standing in line, as his mouth gets him in trouble with a local Narn officer checking people in through customs. It's a very funny scene, but Londo declares, none of these would have happened if the humans hadn't started fighting each other. And on cue, we flash to somewhere else in the galaxy. General Haig's ship, the Alexander, is now commanded by the time-traveling Captain Braxton. No, I'm sorry. It's just Major Ryan. No word if he's related to Private Ryan. But anyway, they're going mano-a-mano with the Clarkstown. Both ships are damaged pretty good. And despite his misgivings, Major Ryan orders an open fire on the Clarkstown. And with all the precision of Luke using the Force to drop a couple of torpedoes down an exhaust tube, the Alexander takes out the Clarkstown. And what should be a moment of celebration is actually a moment of sober reflection, because we knew these people on that ship. They were not some nameless enemy. They were our friends. They had families back home that we knew. No time to mourn, though. The Alexander needs to get out of there super fast and find a place to make some repairs. In order to do that, there's only one place to go. You guessed it, Babylon 5. Now, while the Alexander is on its way, let's check in with Delenn and Lanier. They are attending to a Minbari ranger, I suppose he is, who is badly injured and has just been doing some recon in the non-aligned worlds. It seems that many of those worlds have aligned themselves with the shadows, but now they're actually fighting each other. The Great Council is staying out of it because, after all, the problems of others are not our concern. And Delenn, being former Great Council member herself, isn't having that. And she sets out for Minbar to confront the Great Council. Back on Babylon 5, having made contact with the Alexander, Sheridan orders a comms blackout, all except for the ISN feed, which they watch as the news reports that Mars is refusing to implement the martial law order. It's not long before President Clark has sent bomber Starfuries to Mars, and they launch against the civilian populations. And they break their way into the studios at ISN and shut that news feed down. This seems to be the final straw for a handful of colonies and outposts out there, namely Orion 7 and Proxima 3, or Orion 3 and Proxima 7. I don't remember which order it was in. Whatever, they have declared their independence from EarthGov in protest of the Mars bombings. Freaked out by the possibility that Babylon 5 may join them, President Clark sends a big armada to come take Babylon 5 and arrest Sheridan and the rest of the command staff. Thankfully, though, Captain Hiroshi of the EAS Churchill has intercepted that message and has come to warn and stand with Babylon 5 and the Alexander. Sheridan explains the situation to his command staff. They now have a choice to make. You see, Sheridan promised Delenn that he would draw a line against the darkness, and the line must be drawn here, and no further. So will they surrender to the oncoming EAS ships, or will they fight? One by one, the entire command staff chooses to stand and fight. And tapping into Draw's holographic comm system, Sheridan has a speech to give to everyone on board Babylon 5. In it, he lays out all of the atrocities and illegal actions that President Clark has committed. And in a move that no one saw coming, Sheridan declares Babylon 5 as an independent state, free from EarthGov. And okay, so with that under our belts, it's time to make preparations to fight, because those guys are coming. Well, while they're doing that, Delenn has arrived at the chambers of the Great Council, citing Valen's name, and Ducat's name, and my own name. Not mine, hers. She marches into the chamber and gives those hooded, cloaked members a what for, breaks a sparkly staff, and urges the council members to break the Great Council and come with her. And it works, all except for the warrior cast members. Well, back on Babylon 5, after a pep talk from his dad, his awesome dad, by the way, Sheridan and his crew are ready for a fight that they won't start, but they will finish. And boy, oh boy, does a fight come. The Earth ships arrive, and honestly, it is one of the greatest and lengthiest space battles that I have ever seen put to the small screen. Ships are flying back and forth. Starfuries are exploding. People are ejecting. Soldiers are breaching the Babylon 5 hull. Fists are being thrown. The Churchill is done for. And in a George Kirk type maneuver, Captain Hiroshi orders what's left of her ship to ram into one of the Earth Force ships. There's a brief pause in the fighting, but that is until the jump gate activates and more Earth ships come pouring through. It all looks lost because Babylon 5 and the Alexander have given all that they have. And then the lieutenant, who just got a promotion a couple weeks ago, says, Captain, jump points are opening just above the station. 4 of them. And with 3 simple words, on your left, Delenn and the Minbari have come to the rescue. She's direct. She's vicious. She's cunning. She goes eye to eye with the captain of the Earth ship, and she doesn't blink. And in the most badass speech ever that I've ever heard in the middle of a war, she says, the only one who has ever defeated a Minbari vessel and lived to tell about it is on board Babylon 5, and he is behind me, but you are in front of me. If you want to live, be somewhere else. And somewhere else they went. Back on the station, it's really a sad scene. The bodies of both Narn and humans are strewn everywhere. Some dead, some barely gasping for life. Babylon 5 has lost nearly a third of its Starfury squadron, but Delenn and John reunite as partners. Or maybe partners with benefits, if you ask me. In the end, the Alexander is off looking for other ships that are loyal to their cause and their movement. And oh yeah, since the Churchill got blowed up real good, they left behind a bunch of orphan Starfuries and pilots. And Sheridan just happens to have room for them because, after all, taking them in is exactly what Captain Hiroshi would have wanted him to do. As the episode ends, Sheridan and his staff step out onto the Zocalo, where the residents of Babylon 5 are applauding and cheering for the captain who stood up to tyranny and to President Clark. Jeff, what did you think of this episode, Severed Dreams?
God, it was so boring. Like, how could anybody be into this thing? Okay, I can't. Dude, this episode was awesome. This was so good. It was so good. I was watching. I'm sorry.
This is the kind of an episode that makes somebody a fan of the show.
Right?
Like if you've never seen an episode of Babylon 5, you have everything you need going into the show. They tell you what you need at the beginning. Like, it doesn't even matter if you haven't seen up to this point. This show will hook you because now you got
this is the gateway.
Yeah, like you got to know what happened to get you to this point, but you also need to know what happens next. Like,
but you can go back and see what happened. Like, you watch this and this will hook you, and then you'll go back and watch this stuff. Yeah. My wife, who I've talked about a lot of times on this podcast,
because she's awesome.
She is amazing. We have amazing wives. Like, let's just take a second and acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I agree.
She's not into Babylon 5. I don't think your wife's into Babylon 5. I think they both kind of make fun of us a little bit for watching and talking about Babylon 5.
They just wait. Honestly, mine just waits for me to be done talking to you so I can actually, rejoin the family.
Right, yeah. Same. Totally the same. In fact, last week I did get in a little bit of trouble
or come to bed. Like,
some nights. But yeah, my wife,
3 o'clock. Are you still up there?
Yeah, we have more to talk about. Right? I've only gotten through a part of it. So much to talk. But no, I was watching this on the couch, and she's sitting next to me, and she's working. She's got her laptop, and she's doing some work. And holograph Sheridan's giving his speech, and he's like, just like them, we are effective, immediately seceding from the Earth Alliance. And she just goes, oh! She stops, and she looks, and she was glued the rest of the episode. Yeah.
Nice.
Like, it brought her in.
Did she ask you about Lamelon 5 anymore?
Not at least not this time. We'll see what happens in the next couple episodes, right? And that's usually my daughter who hits me with that stuff. But no, I feel like what I loved about this episode is that it's part of 3 episodes. Like I feel like you can watch Messages from Earth, Point of No Return, Severed Dreams back to back to back.
Yep.
And it's 1 episode.
Yep.
Like it just flows. Everything builds to something else. They feel fully included, but inclusive, but they also feel like their own little wrapped together. Like TV nowadays, where it's 10 episodes and it's all one story arc. Like you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to watch this 1 episode of Wednesday, or whatever. You're like, shoot, I got to watch the whole stinking thing.
Yeah.
You can watch any one of these 3 and be like, what a great episode. That was good. On, off. I'm good to go. Or you can watch all of them. It all works together. I think the 2 other things I really like, a couple things I'd say too, I love that we met Sheridan's dad. Like I loved that his last act as a human being was to call his parents. And they're awesome. Like unbelievably awesome.
Yeah. Hey, your mom's in town running errands. You know how she is.
Yeah, just doing her thing. It was great. And Bruce Boxleitner brought so much to that scene.
Oh, he really did. So much gravitas to that scene.
Yeah, at the end when he's like, hey, love to you both. Like you're like, he does. He loves them.
Yeah.
Like it's so clear and obvious. And he's accepting he's never going to talk to them again. Like he knows this isn't going to go well. I questioned Zach last week. I didn't buy it. I buy it. I'm in on Zach. Zach is back with the DVD cover humans. Like he's in. That's good. Gosh, what else was so good? I'm sorry.
Was Zach in this episode? I don't remember him at all.
Yeah, Zach was in the so Garibaldi got hurt.
Oh, that's
when they were repelling borders. Yep. And he helped him out. He was wearing the riot gear and he helped him get back up. And that was the moment I'm like, okay, Zach's in. Like Zach, he was firing on Earth Force people.
Yeah.
I am excited for us to talk about the League Worlds and the Shadows stuff, the game the Shadows are playing, the Shadow War that they're literally setting up. And I've got a lot of questions about Delenn and the Grey Council stuff and kind of where that's going to go. But what about you? What were your first reactions to this one?
I loved this episode. I loved every single moment of this episode, start to finish. There wasn't a part of this that I was like, okay, are they moving on yet? I looked up at the end and I was like, that was 45 minutes. It felt like 15. Like that's how good this episode was. The standout moment of the whole thing, or the standout sequence, I suppose I should say, is the space battle.
Big time.
In this one. Especially when you consider what we heard. Was it last week we had Majel Barrett as a guest star? And you had relayed something that she had said of, this show and another sci-fi show that she's associated with are 2 very different shows. And what this show is doing on a shoestring budget is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I felt like I could see the budget in this one. Because there's graphics on the screens, and in any other sci-fi show of this era, those graphics are moving. It's actually a monitor back there, or they've had some sort of, no, they just have posters.
Yeah.
Like that's what's on the screen.
There's a poster and a light behind the poster. That's what you get.
It looks like a toy that we've got, and I'm putting a sticker for whatever's supposed to be on the screen, and that's just what the screen is. Like that. Yeah. That's what it looked like to me. But all that money. Oh, and then I don't know, Jeff, the laser beams from the PPGs and the rifles and everything looked awful in this episode. However, the space battle was beautiful and phenomenal to look at, especially considering this is 1996.
Yeah, I literally thought with the PPGs, like my immediate thought was, those are expensive and there's a lot of them. And so they're literally just like, yeah, take all the sparkle stuff away and like, what can you give me for $5 and do that. But the space battle stuff, I was literally watching it and just thinking, just the straight up, the balls of JMS to walk into Babylon 5 when it started and be like, we're doing CG. That's how we're doing our effects. And Brent, season 1 was embarrassingly horrible the effects and the graphics. I have to imagine there were times in the first, maybe even part of the second season where because he knew we were building to this.
Mm-hmm.
And is he just like, oh my God, I don't know if we're going to be able to do it or not. But they had, episodes like The Long Twilight Struggle and Fall of Night and stuff to like, hey, let's do some other big ones. Voices. Now, there's one this season that had a bunch of effect in it as well. It's kind of like test things, but they could not have done this in season 1. Like this was the perfect culmination of the technology and the story coming together at the perfect time.
I mean, and Jeff, we've seen really good space battles out there. We've seen it in other sci-fi shows. We've seen.
I think Battlestar Galactica. I've always loved the space battles there, and this was so reminiscent when the Starfire, the Starfuries opened fire. That just screamed Battlestar Galactica to me.
Jeff, when the Starfuries were going through their launch sequence. Now, I love the launch sequence. When it comes down to it, and people ask me like, "What's my favorite thing to see in Babylon 5?" It's the Starfury launch sequence. I love that. I just all the people listening to the audio version out there are like, what was that noise?
Right. Just picture the launch sequence. Brent did it with his hands.
Yeah, exactly. My wife makes fun of me all the time because I just use sound effects for everything. She's like, you really didn't need to do the sound effect. I'm like, yes, I did. Anyway, I love that launch sequence, but this was the sharpest looking launch sequence I've ever seen in my life. When Ivanova goes out and she's joining them, which I want to talk about that, whether she really should have joined them or not. I have a for and an against for why she should have done that. But they're out there fighting. She goes through the ejection piece. The Starfury bangs into the ship. The Churchill bangs into the Roanoke. I mean, these guys are just going after it. The cannons are shooting and moving, and oh my gosh, like this is just, it's so good.
Yeah.
And you pair that with these amazing speeches that we got more than one. I had to bleep myself in the reaction video,
really,
because I didn't even realize I said something, and it was like I dropped a full-on F-bomb. Like I was like, that's the most bad speech I've ever heard. But I mean, Sheridan's breakaway speech, his succession speech, was on point.
Yeah.
He delivered a perfect speech. Here's what's happening. Here are the atrocities. I mean, it's what our Declaration of Independence is here in America. Here's what's going on. Here's all the things that he's done wrong. And therefore we're now out. And here's our terms. Like that's how that speech went. His speech to his staff of where he went around and he's like, all right, we got a choice to make. Are you in or are you out? And he let them all choose. And he gave his, he gave his line that he did about drawing a line. We got to hold it here. And then honestly, Delenn coming out and just Mira Furlan. Oh my gosh. Like what she gave to the Great Council, what she gave to the one dude who was trying to stand in her way of getting into the Great Council, and then what she gave to the Earth Force guys when she came through the wormholes and was like, on your left, like, I'm here, Cap, Bombay, let's go. Like, we're going to get you,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was just, and if the Russo brothers were inspired in that moment in Endgame by this particular moment in Babylon 5, it would not surprise me. I know that they pulled stuff that they were inspired by Star Trek in to their films. It would not surprise me that they also did that with other sci-fi franchises like Babylon 5.
Totally. Yeah, the thing I loved about Delenn and like just laying it down was each time she took a very different approach, right? So when she's one-on-one with that guy, it was about invoking the big names, Valen, the name of Ducat, I have his blood on my hands.
Did you
in the name of me? In the name of
Ducat and my own name.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
But she's hitting this guy personal in the beliefs, right? Like, this is what we believe, and I'm going to hit you in them. Then she goes to the Great Council, and that's more of a political speech that she gave, which was that whole the whole like, this is who we say we are. This is our mission statement. You are full of crap and you don't believe any of it. And this is what's going. Give this impassioned speech about that you could see on the floor of Congress or the United Nations, anywhere, sort of a thing. Then she gets in the command chair of the White Star, and she just straight up military.
Was that the White Star she was on?
It was the White Star.
I wasn't sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
It just flew by really quick.
Yeah,
but it was clearly different than the big warships, the war cruisers that came through. But yeah, she's literally just going to the big bully and just being like, look, cool. You want to pick on this guy? Fine. Yeah, he's beat up, whatever. Also, I will kill you. I will straight murder you.
And I've count done to three. Before. I've already done it. And the only person who ever stopped me was that guy right there. And I ain't messing with him. He's under my protection.
Yeah. Like she was amazing. 3 very different versions of her and all perfectly effective.
The only part that I thought was a little lame was how as soon as she said that, the very next shot was the shot of the jump gate opening and the Earthships running away. Like that was a quick turn. And I was like, that one felt a little whatever, but I also felt like they were running short on time in that episode. Like,
yeah,
I could see that being like, maybe there was another conversation that happened there and they're like, we got to cut something.
I thought the first thing I thought the first time I watched it was, dude, I would run. I mean, they totally waltzed through Earth's defenses in the war. 12 years ago, 13 years ago now. I mean, they didn't lose a single ship, a single soldier until Sheridan, went and did his Star Killer thing. So yeah, these people are captains. They've been around. They fought in the Earth Minbari War. They remember. They're gone. But on my second watch through, I remember in And Now for a Word, where the Senate oversight guy was like, we got these cool new weapons now. I think we'd hold our own in a war against the Minbari. I don't think we necessarily need a space station for this stuff. Well, your soldiers don't think you can hold your own because they were out of there.
Right. But this was a cool episode. Jeff, I don't even know where to start.
Well, let's talk about the Minbari stuff because we're in it right now. And the whole thing started. I made the same assumption that you did that beat up Minbari in the early part was a ranger.
Yeah,
because that's their job, right? Going out and listening to the stuff. But I want to talk about the shadow stuff he shared afterwards, after we get through the other Minbari stuff. But just one ridiculous thing with Delenn. So she busts into the Grey Council, the chambers there. All the dudes are just standing there in their light circles with their hoods drawn. Like, is that what they do?
Well,
just stand there.
I mean, I know they have the hoods. I know they have the cloaks. I know their official meeting thing is in the circle with the lights, which just seems ridiculous. Cause like, listen, we're going to be here talking. Give me a chair or something, Yeah. And it's like, dude, it's just the 9 of us. It's okay. Like we know who each other is. This is not a secret. But in this particular case, like Jeff, I feel like more and more I am seeing the production of the show as I'm watching it. And in this one, I just went, you didn't have the money to put these guys in makeup, so you threw the cloak over them.
Yeah. Yep. And you just put them in a room with a blue screen and some lights. Like, how can we just, how can I do this on $5?
Yeah. And like, I thought that particular scene in this one stuck me as a little weird. Like there's the 8 members of the Grey Council and there's one light that doesn't have anybody in it. And Delenn walks straight into the middle of the circle to a light that's right in the middle. And then the guy closes the circle and comes in around. Like, I was like, wait a minute. Why wasn't he there to begin with? Was he late? Did it just happen to work out that way? Like,
did he step aside so she could walk in?
Right.
And
like,
that seems pretty cool of him.
Right. It just felt very convenient blocking, which I'm sure actually is what it was.
Yeah.
In real life.
Well, the lighting wasn't good, in that scene when she's giving her speech. And I loved it too, because she goes individually, person by person, and gives them a piece. But the lighting took away from it a little bit. And then the scene where she goes and grabs dude's staff.
Okay, so let's break that down. The guy with the staff, apparently the leader of the Grey Council, we assume.
I guess so.
Or just somebody in the Grey. But she goes and she breaks the staff, and it's got this electricity sparkly thing. What is that staff? What is it supposed to be?
Yeah.
Why does it sparkle with electricity?
How could she break it just like just
knee.
total strong? She didn't even do it over her knee.
Yeah.
Like she just snapped it like she had a Twix bar and was like, yeah, you want a piece? Here you go. But when she's doing that, though, she's talking about the prophecy that the council must be broken. Have we heard this prophecy before?
We have asked what this prophecy is. We've never actually heard the prophecy. We know pieces of it. The Minbari are going to have to reunite with the two halves of their souls in order to defeat the coming war. Somehow the prophecy has to do with Delenn getting the Triluminary and going into the chrysalis and growing hair. It has to do with her doing and she forced it on them, right? Because this is the time. I didn't catch that the prophecy said that the council had to be broken. Although now that I think about it, that might be something she was saying. What I interpreted it as was she was saying, the prophecy, what's upon us. You guys as a council have failed and refused to do your job. And now you must break the council to come with me because these guys aren't going to go. As a council, you can't go because these warrior caste guys over here, they're not going to do it. So break the council and come with me so we can fulfill the prophecy. That's the way I interpreted it. But now that you say that, it is.
Yeah, because she says it was either just before or just after she took the staff and busted it. She says, we must break the council as has been prophesied.
Did she say that? Really?
Yeah, like it was this big declaration. And then she drops the ultimatum. We either do this now together or we don't do it at all.
Right.
And I'm like, really? Like, I feel like that ultimatum doesn't fit here necessarily. I mean, I get, getting her and getting the ships to go save Babylon 5. But if they cut out a scene where there was a back and forth between the Earth ships before they tucked tail and ran to the jump gate, I feel like they cut some scenes or some moments in this Grey Council piece because it doesn't all connect. Like all the dots don't connect in that scene, at least not for me.
Yeah, there's definitely still some questions left out there about what's out there. For those of you watching and listening, please don't tell us.
Yeah. Don't want to know.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
We'll get there. But these are the questions in our mind right now. We definitely don't know what the entirety of that prophecy is. I hope we get it before the end of the show. That just means by the end of season 5. Unveil it as you need to.
It feels very convenient right now. Like, well, we'll pull out this prophecy. We'll pull out this plot need right now and call it prophecy and then make it happen. But we don't know.
Though, Jeff, I want to push back on that because we've known about the prophecy. The prophecy has been around. We've
known about the prophecy.
The right next step.
We've known about the prophecy of the souls and the coming together, the shadows, like all those pieces. But this whole breaking of the council thing, that's brand new, I think.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem right.
Hey, Jeff, I need just a moment.
Cool.
Okay. I'm going to turn my camera off here.
Perfect. Hi, YouTube.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to edit this video later, or if you just want to leave it like this, but I just need a moment.
Well, take a moment. We'll see how long he's gone. I might edit this out. I might not. Depends on how long it takes him to take care of what he's taking care of. But this is what we do. It's a cool thing. A thing I love about working with Brent, honestly, is that we both understand that our families and our lives are the most important things that are going on. So we make space for each other to do that. I guess since we got some time, I am going to completely make 2 pitches to you. So I'm going to make one, and then if he's still not back, I'll make another one. And if he's still not back after that second pitch, then I'm going to cut all of this out and edit it together. And you'll just see a weird jump when he goes, because I'm not going to edit it smoothly. That's our whole thing. We talked about it like 2 or 3 weeks ago, where make it look good. Don't add any extra work. Pitch number 1. We have analytics on YouTube that we're able to dive into, and we're able to see some stuff. We actually had a really cool conversation about that not too long ago, a couple weeks ago. But one of the things we know is that almost half of the people, well, maybe it's not so much anymore, but almost half of the people that watch our videos here on YouTube are not subscribed to our channel. Take a second. If you're one of those people, you're watching this, especially if you're still watching me just ramble right now and not talk about Babylon 5 necessarily, and you're watching this still, just take a second and subscribe. I'd love if you kept the bell turned on and got the notifications. But honestly, just the way the YouTube algorithm works and all that stuff is you have a high subscriber to viewer ratio, you get served to more people. And it's cool to have more people join our community. So my pitch, take a moment. I'll wait. Go ahead, subscribe. If you're a new subscriber, in the comment below, say, hey, I'm new. Hi. Be cool. If I don't respond to you, like Brent said, we read it, we saw it, I appreciate it, but I will do my best to respond to all of those. Pitch number 2. I mentioned it earlier on, but we have a Patreon, and we have a really, really cool community as part of our Patreon. Like, really cool. Some awesome people, some great conversations. And one of the cool things about the Patreon is, like, we've got a couple tiers, and some of the tiers you get access to the Patreon itself, the community. I think we even have like a lurker level where, hey, you're helping support the show. And that's great. You see some of our posts that come through, but you can still communicate with others on the Patreon community. At another level, you get, like, Brent posts his unedited Brent watches, so you see the whole thing. I also do some reaction videos. I don't do all of them. Brent and I have a pretty defined separation of duties on this, but I do some reaction videos on there, so you can check those out. But the other cool thing is the community we have on our Discord. We talked about that a little bit ago. So I'll wrap the pitch up because Brent's back, but head over to patreon.com/Babylon5 first and join a really cool exclusive community. I love to see you there. Hey, Brent.
Hey, sorry about that. I just had to take care of some dad duty real quick. So
that's what you got to do. And I was telling everybody, like, that's our initial, our number one agreement when we started this whole thing. Our families are always going to come first.
Yep. Because I don't know about you, Jeff, but I have been in a situation where the podcast took precedence over my family, and I had to stop that podcast because of it. Yeah. And my family always will come first.
Yep,
so
that's how it should be.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I'm not going to be one of these people that they make a biopic of who loses his family in the midst of everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be that guy, Shout out, by the way, to Garth Brooks and Rick Moranis. 2 guys who both stopped their careers at their height to take care of their kids.
Yeah. Right.
And then with Garth Brooks, once his kids were grown, he started touring again and didn't feel like he missed a beat. And Rick Moranis, his kids are now grown, and he's like, I'm good.
Yeah, this is all right. What were we talking about?
I apologize for cutting you off. You were in the middle of talking about Delenn and the Grey Council, and I was about to ask you, or maybe I did ask you, about snapping the staff and why was it all sparkly?
Let's why don't you ask that question? We'll pick it up there in the audio edit.
All right, Jeff, I have a big question, and I didn't understand this. Delenn grabs that staff from dude. I don't know if he's the leader dude or not, but she grabs the staff. She's like, we're going to break it. And you said a second ago, like, it just snapped like a twig. But suddenly it had all this sparkly electric energy in it. What was that? What is the deal? Like, is there some sort of, is this a magic staff and the magic just got broken? Like, I don't understand.
I didn't get it at all. And literally in a scene that they're trying to do on $5 for them to take a minute and do that electric, like, it had a purpose. It definitely had a purpose. Right. There were scenes, if I remember right, in The Sky Full of Stars, where we got the insight into Sinclair and his time on the Minbari vessel the first time. We saw they had like the little triangle pew pew things they would use, and sometimes I think they even had it on a staff, but this wasn't that. Like, it wasn't the triangle, it was like a diamond shape on the top. Like, as I'm talking through, like, I was like, oh, maybe it's this thing that we saw way back then, but no, it's a totally different thing.
Yeah. You know what else we haven't seen in a while? You remember when the triangle would appear in their head, and like Delenn like couldn't control it, she had to hide it when she met Morden. And then the dude who was like hanging out in her closet that one time was when Sinclair was figuring some stuff out.
Yeah, and he had it show up.
I'm assuming that that's just a thread that JMS was like, yeah, I'm not going to continue that, and just dropped it.
It was like in the miniseries for Battlestar Galactica when Baltar and Number 6 were in bed and her spine lit up. And then it's like, well, we never saw that again. That was a cool teaser scene that they did. And that was it. But yeah, I don't know. I think for me, I can wrap the whole thing of the Minbari and Delenn coming in on the cavalry, breaking the council into one single question.
Okay.
And that is, what are the consequences to this going to be?
Well, I mean, you clearly have 2/3 of the ruling body of the Minbari with an active Minbari / human ranger force now actively protecting Babylon 5 and going against what the warrior caste has done. It occurs to me that we could see a fracturing of the Minbari society and that the warrior caste winds up joining up with the shadows. Right?
Yep.
That's what occurs to me that could wind up happening. I mean, it makes sense writing wise, because otherwise why even have the warrior caste there? I will say this. I did notice when Delenn walked out, that what we saw on screen was 3 members left of the Great Council who did not leave with her.
Mm-hmm.
One of them grabbed somebody's arm and they shoved his arm away. But when we last saw the Great Council, there were 4 warrior caste members. So was there a 4th guy that we just didn't see who was off screen? Or was that who got his arm grabbed and the warrior caste guy was like, nah, screw you, I'm out of here?
First time I watched this, I left with the mindset of there are 3 left. Who on the warrior caste left with them? That was my thought. The second time I watched it, instead of counting the people that were left, I counted the people that walked away.
Okay.
5 people walked away, including the guy who stopped at the end and who was like, because I think other dude was literally just like, are you sure, man? Are you sure? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm out of here. So 5 people walked away, plus Delenn, which would leave 4. So I think that dude closing the circle, like you were asking about earlier, was they probably only had 8 people who they could get robes on, and they had to do some blocking and positioning. And so when they walked out, well, shoot, I guess we're going to have to do it like this and hope nobody notices.
Right. Yeah. So my thought was that there's a 4th member. It's just someone who was off screen. We just didn't see him. They were off screen. That was what I assumed. But there was that guy who was got his arm grabbed. I thought maybe he might have. But
I think with the Minbari coming in under the umbrella of Babylon 5, there's this started a little while ago. Back in Comes the Inquisitor, when they introduced, was that when they introduced Sheridan to the Rangers? Was Comes the Inquisitor, I think?
No. Oh, wait a minute.
I don't remember. It was one of those later season 2 episodes where after a whole bunch of stuff happened, Delenn and Kosh brought Sheridan in and showed him the Rangers and decided to share command of them, basically. But so, and then in that similar episode or one close to it is when Drawl came on, and Drawl says, hey, I'm here to help you. Epsilon 3 is here to help Babylon 5. That's going to happen. So now what we end up with is we've got former Earth Force people, we've got Epsilon 3, we've got the Rangers, we've got the Narn, because even the Narn were like, yeah, we're going to be loyal to Babylon 5. And then we have the potential of Mars, Orion 7, and Proxima 3 all landing under this umbrella of Babylon 5. So Babylon 5 is going to be the universe, right? That everyone comes and connects to, I think, is where this is going.
Yeah. There's going to have to be something where Babylon 5 has to, part of developing its independence, they're now going to have to decide who they are, what they stand for, what they're about, who they're going to interact with, all that sort of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the idea that what was Babylon 5? They were this great meeting place of everybody in the stars. So these guys are all going to have to kind of, where you said, everybody's going to have to come to Babylon 5. That, I almost wonder if that's going to be renewed in the new government, whatever that is. This is the new last best hope for peace.
Mm-hmm. Well, what it becomes is you'll have all these different factions, these different races and places from different governments, Proximus 3 and all those, all coming together in the big meeting room that we have for the council chambers. And you're going to see Sheridan wearing this really nice dress uniform. And he's going to be giving this impassioned speech about how now that we're all together, we can bond as the United Federation of Planets. This is where the Federation starts at Babylon 5.
Right. Yeah. It makes sense to me. You know, we've been told that, I'm going to carry off yours because I've already used all three of mine, that, you know, Star Trek is like, here's the picture of the utopian society in the future. And Babylon 5 is, here's how we got there. So
well, literally between the the Terra Firma Enterprise episodes, the real finale to Enterprise, and then these were the voyages or whatever. Babylon 5 happens in that space.
It makes sense. Hey, I'll buy it. It makes sense.
But I do think I'm fascinated by your thought about the warrior cast allying themselves with the shadows, but it checks out. I mean, they just want to fight. They just want to be in charge. And knowing what that Ranger shared with us, that they're making these alliances with League worlds and then making them fight each other, essentially, totally makes sense.
So can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay. How do worlds make alliances with the shadows?
Through Anna Sheridan is how they do it. Anna Sheridan shows up on the Drazi world.
She is dead.
She and Morden are out signing treaties and agreements with all these League worlds. And what's fascinating is they're doing it, telling them that they need protection against the growing Centauri threat. When the shadows are the force behind. I mean, it's so brilliant.
Well, but they're not, because they've broken away. But even though Rifa and the shadows still have their kind of deal, there is a line, you know. And we heard in an episode or two ago, the shadows are amassing their forces on the Centauri border. You know, so there's all of that, but. You know, imagine the pompousness that people don't think they can be defeated as long as they have the shadows at their back.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here going, but how do they know what the shadows are? Because that's the whole thing, is people didn't really know what the shadows, like Jakar apparently knew just fine. Delenn knew. Did you hear what Delenn called all the other worlds? The younger worlds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like,
that was cool.
Okay, wait, are you is Minbar an older world? Were they around in the first one? Are they first ones?
I don't think they're first ones. So if we look at the time scale, the last big huge war was 10,000 years ago.
1,000 years ago.
Well, the big one was 10,000 years. That was the Vorlons and the all the ancient ones and the first ones. And then the next big one, not huge, was 1,000 years ago. And that's where the Narn, where Jaquan came up and whatever. But the Narn were just farmers up on their northern continent, you know, whatever, and happened to observe some. They weren't spacefaring yet.
Right.
I think the Minbari were the younger world in that
Back
one.
then.
Where where they were spacefaring, but they were the Earth, right? The new kid on the block.
Right.
And so in Mass Effect terms, they're the Asari. They're the old race that are still active in galactic politics and are there, but everyone looks to them. And in the last Reaper sweeping, the Asari were the only one of the current races that had sentient people. And so that means nothing to you. But there's this great line where they talk about how the Solarians, who are one of the races, who have a character named Morden, by the way, who's very different than the Morden we know.
Okay.
But they say, the Solarians ate flies. They were just these amphibians that sat and ate flies. But the Asari, they weren't spacefaring or anything, but they were there. So I think that's the Minbari. They've been around a while. They'll be the next first one, if that makes any sense.
They'll be the second ones. All right. So I have one more Delenn question, and then I'm done with Delenn. Not even a question, just a pointing out. She has this singular moment with Jakar where she says, you know what? I don't think you're the person that I met 4 years ago anymore. You've become something different. That's an interesting line. That's a cool line. And it makes you think like, okay, wait, who was Jakar and what is he now? Because there's the recent experience he's had where he had this vision of Jalon, right? But he has been on this trip, like this path for a couple of seasons now too. Like this isn't just new, but like again, not really a question, just a note. Like,
well, I made a similar note because I noticed in Point of No Return when he kind of shared his idea, you know, hey, I've got this idea, let's go talk. And then once they said, hey, here's the security force, you know, and he kind of like saluted and whatever, he had this kind of spring in his step, you know, was kind of stepping a little more lively. He's got the support of the Narns on the station. He's helping out the crew on Babylon 5. Everything's great. When he shows up creepily out from behind a bunch of crates where like they're secretly talking to this ranger, and he's like, oh, hi. Yeah, I've been here the whole time, just watching you with this guy bleeding. I'll just deadlift him and carry him for you. Well, how far can you carry him? As far as you need. And even as he's carrying Ranger Guy, he's got this little spring in his step. And it really is, to me, I think like he's all in on like serving others. Where the Jakar we used to know, Midnight on the Firing Line Jakar, who went where the Narn attacked Ragesh 3, and he's in the council chambers blaming the Centauri for the whole thing. Like, he was a conniving, terrible politician, an orator who could make anyone, gaslight anybody into thinking they'd done something wrong. That was old Jakar. New Jakar will deadlift a dude who can't bear his own weight and carry him as far as he needs to.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
He'll bend the rules and get done what we need to get done for what we got here, because this is the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
Jeff, I don't even know where to go next, man.
Well, let's talk about Major Ryan.
Okay.
And all this stuff that went down.
Captain Braxton. Let's go.
Right. Dude, not only is he Captain Braxton, dude is a legend. Bruce McGill.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, his IMDb page, you could stack it and go to the moon. Like, he's done everything. He was in Animal House with Stephen First.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Nice.
D-Day is who he played back then. But like, this is like, he was just starting to kind of come into his own. But a long time ago, somebody shared with me a clip on YouTube. And here's the thing. Again, if you're listening, if you're watching and you want to share with us a YouTube clip, tell us what it is. Don't say, hey, it's cool. No, whatever. Don't give us any, just tell us exactly what it is. Cause someone said, hey, just check this out. It's fine. It wasn't fine. It was from a season 3 blooper reel.
Oh yeah.
And it was Bruce McGill in the scene where they're like, hey, where's General Haig? When's General Haig going to come in? And Bruce McGill, Major Ryan, says, General Haig is doing Deep Space Nine.
No, he didn't.
He did.
No, he didn't.
He goes on. He's like, yeah, apparently he was double booked and he took the Star Trek gig, and that's true. Like, he was double booked. He was booked to.
But that happened in real life. Like that's why Haig didn't come back, because he was, I guess, shooting what is that, Homefront over on Deep Space Nine?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So a couple fun facts. So one, he was signed up. This is my understanding again, and this is from a rabbit hole. Someone gave it to me. I jumped into it, but I know it, so I'll share it. But he was booked to come and film the Severed Dreams. Same time Homefront was filming. His representation was like, yeah, Star Trek's a 2-parter. Like, it's double the money. Go do that. I'll cancel that thing for you. Yeah. That's why JMS killed him.
No, really? Yeah. I can't blame him. I honestly can't blame him for that. Like,
but here's the cool thing. If you are familiar with the Homefront 2-parter, Homefront and Paradise Lost, I think is the 2-parter. It's where Sisko gets recalled and he's on Earth, and a lot of stuff happens on Earth. Robert Foxworth, who's General Haig, plays Admiral Layton. Do you remember what Admiral Layton was doing in Homefront?
Yeah, he was the bad admiral. He was trying to do the coup. He was trying to be president. Well, I guess not President Clark, but he was trying to take over. Yeah.
So he was an evil version of General Haig.
Do I remember what happened? and a Star Trek episode. Really, Jeff?
Right, you've seen everyone at least 47 times. So
48 now.
Right? Yeah. But no, it was a rhetorical question. But I just thought it was great, the parallel where he's evil guy staging a coup against the Federation president in Star Trek.
Right.
But over here, he's good general staging a coup against the evil president. And I'll take it. But yeah, so that's why we got Major Ryan, who I loved.
Mm-hmm.
He was great.
He really was. Bruce McGill really has been in everything. Like, he has so many credits to his name, man. It's ridiculous. He was in My Cousin Vinny. That's I think the one that I really, really know him from.
Yeah.
You know, he was, honestly, this isn't a reference because we're talking about the man. This isn't the first time that Bruce McGill comes in to replace a character either. Because that's
You've
where
already
we got
made
Captain
this
Braxton. Yeah, that's where we got Captain. He came in to replace the old Captain Braxton. I don't know why, but just he did it better. You know, like
he was great.
He really was. And now he's replacing General Haig. Okay. But he's okay. I just want to say this. You're a military guy, Jeff. I'm not. Former, right?
Yeah, I'm not a military guy. Don't ever define me like that.
You have General Haig, and the next highest person is Major Ryan.
So I got a lot of problems here, right?
I don't know how all the ranks go, but that seems like a pretty far drop.
Well, I got to imagine there are colonels and other things like that, but also maybe not. So it's weird. There's a blending of what I'll call ground military ranks, like the Marines and the Army, and Navy ranks. So Captain Sheridan, Captain Hiroshi, Commander Ivanova. These are naval ranks. A captain in the Navy, right, gets to command a big ship. I was on a submarine, fast attack. Our commanding officer was a commander. Our XO was a lieutenant commander. If you're on a ballistic missile submarine, this is back in the 90s, your commanding officer is a captain and the first officer is a commander. So, and we see stuff like that in other sci-fi, right? The smaller ships go to smaller ranks. But then major? Like there is no major in the Navy. Like you go lieutenant commander, commander, captain, and then you're into the admiralty from there. You know, so you're a full bird captain, full bird colonel to go, but it's, you know, major to lieutenant colonel, and then the general ranks. So I don't understand how they do their ranks and all of this. It does not make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest reference for this frame of reference is from Stargate SG-1, where there's a major and then there's a colonel, and there's a spot where the colonel gets taken out, and people are like, well, why don't we just gonna let the major lead it? And the general who's in charge of the whole thing says to them, says to the non-military person, it's a far cry from major to colonel. Like, we need somebody else in here to lead this, because that major's just not ready. Like
back in the day, a major would be a silver leaf, and then you become a lieutenant colonel, which is a gold leaf, and then you become a full bird colonel as it moves up. That might have changed. It's been a long time. Like I said, former military guy.
Yeah.
And also, spoiler wise, if I'm wrong, like I could be misstating this, I could be misremembering. Feel free to correct. That's a total okay to correct me on this one. But but yeah, it is a far cry from major to colonel. So,
but anyway, all of that actually really doesn't have much to do with the episode. They come in. I mean, Jeff, he's in there. We know this guy. He has a wife and 3 kids.
Yeah.
This isn't some nameless face who's across the enemy lines, right? One of the things that I've talked about on my other podcast is the idea that if you can dehumanize someone, if you can take their identity away and just put a label on them, right? We do this in politics all the time. Take the person away and just say, you're a lefty, you're a righty, you're a liberal, you're a conservative, you're a whatever. You take away who they are and all the complexities that make them a person and boil it down to this one thing. That's much easier to hate than a person. And when you see the person, now it's real. And I loved I don't want to shoot any more of our people. Yeah, but if you don't, we're going to die. I understand. And yes, we need to do that. But there was a real moment of recognizing the gravity of this particular situation. And I very much appreciated that in an episode that is jam-packed full, that they took that moment and just expressed humanity in that moment.
I feel like they took 3 specific opportunities. There's that one, which was beautiful because it's literally him saying, hey, I killed this guy and I'm going to take 2 minutes and I'm going to acknowledge him and the impact that we have made by doing that. Like that was awesome. It reminded me really of the big battle in Return of the Jedi when they get the Star Destroyer and it crashes down, and the Super Star Destroyer and it crashes down to the Death Star, and Akbar's just heartbroken because that pilot of the A-Wing had to die for it to happen. You know, everyone's like, yeah, we got an Admiral Akbar's like, yeah, but we lost one of ours to make it happen. And that hit me like that. But the second time was when the destroyer came through to take him on, and Sheridan reached out. It was a Captain Drake, I think it was. And he's like, dude, brother, man, come on. Like just captain to captain. This is not cool. You know, it's not cool. Come on, dude. Let's not do this. I thought it was neat. Like, I wish they had taken a few more steps. Like maybe they knew each other, you know, or something. And he's able to be like, come on, you know, and called him by his first name or whatever. But the third one, which I thought was a beautiful, really well done callback to Gropos, was after the fight with the boarders, when they were done repelling the boarders, and there was just that wash of bodies.
Yeah.
That was so similar to that scene showing the attacking force on Gropos that had all died. But you had Narn, you had Babylon 5 security, and you had Earth Force all laying with each other, bleeding on each other. And it was just like, we are all the same.
But here's the difference. But there was a difference though, Jeff. When we saw that scene in Gropos, it was a slow panning shot over a death field. In this one, a lot of those people were gasping for breath. They were going to die. Those people are done. They will die momentarily. But for right now, they weren't just dead. They just didn't take a shot and all of a sudden they're dead. No, those people are bleeding out. Those people are hemorrhaging internally and will not recover.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the gruesome side. And they're all doing it together.
Yeah. Death is not clean, right? Yeah. There's a theory of this in television or whatever of like, you know, I shot the guy and he went, and he's dead. And that's it. And that's not ever how it works. You know, I think it's like if you get stabbed in the stomach, it can take 3 days for you to die. But in a movie or TV show, it's instantaneous, you know, and they showed us that. And I thought that was brave. And I thought it humanized again, and in this case, in that scene, it wasn't just humans. There were Narns there as well. And it's just another thing of like, we're all bleeding together.
Yeah. And both sides lost something. You know, both sides lost something. So
on the borders, the coming on board, can we talk about what a stupid, dumb tactical choice Garibaldi made? Hey, let's set up here so we can blast them. And they give him a whole like long length of hallway to get themselves organized. And then they just started blasting it. It's like, how do you have this job, man? Like, how was I ever such a huge fan of yours?
Yeah, he's not good at his job.
No.
I mean, either he's not good at his job or JMS isn't good at writing his job. I mean, this really could just be, this is the difference between what somebody would do in real life and here's what we're doing for plot reasons.
Yeah.
And character development. So Garibaldi gets hurt. We see him hobbling around on a staff. Now, the last time we saw somebody get hurt and hobbling around with a cane, the actress Claudia Christensen had actually like broken her foot doing something. And so they wrote it into the story. I don't know that we know that anything's going on like that with Jerry Doyle.
Yeah, nothing that I know of.
I'm curious how long we're going to see him hobbling around on cane though.
If you remember after the assassination attempt on him, when he healed for a while, he was using a cane also. So I wonder if this is like exacerbating an old injury. Now this is going to become like his trick knee, you know, sort of thing.
Yeah. I got to tell you, did you think for a second Garibaldi was going to get it, that he was done?
Did. Yeah,
I really did too. I was like, Does he leave the show?
Like I expected Zach almost like, it's okay. And then like cover his eyes.
Yeah.
And Zach to walk away. And like, that's
like,
the moment Zach would become a man, sort of a thing. Although that happened last week, to be fair.
That happened in the movie Grease.
It did a couple times. I've had it since I was in the 8th grade.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you had that. Okay, what else did we have? Okay, can we talk about, let's just get to the meat of it. Talk about Sheridan.
Yep.
The show's already running long, so let's get to where we need to be. Sheridan being, once again, absolutely the best leader you could possibly imagine, right? And being the absolute right guy for this. And I want to start with his conversation with his dad, because in that moment, John Sheridan felt a lot more like Johnny to me.
Yeah.
Talking to his old man.
Mm-hmm.
You saw him as a kid in that moment going, hey, Dad. And you all of a sudden you get where he gets it, because his dad is just like, hey, listen, I know you've got a lot of decisions. He says at some point, he's like, I'm sure you're making a lot of tough decisions because all the important ones are always tough. Yeah. He's like, don't you worry about us. We're good out here. We're okay. Water sucking up the heat, but we're gonna be all right. Our neighbors are gonna help take care of us. And you gotta imagine, is Sheridan concerned for his parents?
Gotta be.
Right. I mean,
yeah.
That they're gonna go do something to his parents because of him.
Get to him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But his dad just looks at him and he says, son, you got a lot to do. I'm gonna let you go do it. Right. And he's like, they do the salute thing. And all I wanted for his dad to say in that moment was, I love you, son. That's all I wanted him to say. And eventually, like Sheridan, like just before he goes, love you both. Like he throws it out, but all his dad does is he just goes a little head nod.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all he does. I'm sorry. Side note, fast forward to when Delenn comes back on the station and they meet at the end, and you're like, Sheridan needs to say something right now. And he doesn't. Oh, and then, the other one was when Ivanova leaves CNC to go join the Starfuries, and they stop and look at each other. And all Sheridan needed to say in that moment was, hey, take care of yourself.
Right.
Hey, come back. Whatever. And they just stare at each other. I'm like, what is it with the Sheridan men not saying what they actually need to say in the last moment?
Well, I feel like that's a good commentary on masculinity in the mid to late 90s in general. Probably. And how it's impacted people. Yeah. I loved, so it hit me, the dad thing hit me in a couple ways, but the big one was, he didn't say, I was waiting for the I love yous as well.
Yeah.
In my family, we're big on that, right? Yeah. I always told my parents every time, I love you. So it's a big thing. But he did say to Sheridan, to John, that I thought was great was, hey, I'll talk to you when I talk to you.
Yeah.
And it reminded me, my grandpa, who was in World War II, he was in the Navy in World War II. And he had a thing where he would never, ever say goodbye. And he would never let you say goodbye to him. He'd actually say, he's like, I've said goodbye to too many people.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it again. He said, just, I'll be seeing you.
Yeah.
I'll be seeing you, because one way or another, he's a man of faith as well, and so he's like, one way or another, I'll be seeing you.
I'll be seeing you, right?
The next or whatever.
Right.
And I felt like that was kind of like, Mr. Sheridan's thing was like, hey, I'll talk to you when I talk to you. It's like, I'm not saying goodbye. I trust you. I know you're doing great stuff, and look, we're good. You do you, and I'll talk to you next time I talk to you. It's all good. So I feel like that was toxic 90s masculinity, caring dad way of saying I love you.
I mean, it was a fantastic message. It was just this one little bit. I'm like, and you're right. But bigger than that, and Jeff, this made me think about myself. If I were to ask my son this question, what would he say? What is the first lesson I ever taught you?
Yeah.
What it like, and okay, let's substitute. Not what's the first lesson. What's the main lesson I've taught you growing up? Right? Like what is that? Like, what would you say, Jeff? Like, what is the lesson you've taught your kid? What if they're talking later, what would they say?
What would they say? That's a tough one. I'll tell you what I hope she would say. You know, because I think it's hard to say what she would say.
Mhm.
But what I hope that she would say is that it is important to take care of other people. Let me rephrase that. It is important to take good care of yourself so that you can take really good care of other people. That is what I talk about to the people I work with and to her all the time. And whether she's hearing it or not, I don't know. She's 7, right? So shoot, almost 8, a couple of weeks, but it's
but you keep repeating it and repeating it. Lessons are not lessons taught once.
Right. Well, the thing is,
let me say that again. Lessons learned are not lessons taught once.
Exactly. And I'm going to ask you the same question in a moment, but like I was probably in my early 30s before I could verbalize the lesson my dad taught me. You know what I mean? Like it takes a lot of time, but what do you think? What do you think your son would say?
I would hope he and my daughter both would say they would say one of two things, and I'm okay with either one of them being first. One would be I am my dad's son, or I am my dad's daughter. Like that's who they are. Who am I? I am your son. That's the existence that they live in. You know what I mean?
I am me, son of Brent.
Yeah, no, it's that they, and that has nothing to do with me as much as that has to do with who they are. Does not depend on what they do, where they go, how much money they make, what their job is, what clothes they're wearing. It depends on their identity of who they are, who loves them, who's a part of their life, what's around. Like that's what I mean by that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Your identity is wrapped up in who you are, not what you do.
Yeah.
Right? And
almost
we've talked about identity a lot on this show over the last 2.5 seasons.
Almost turn it into I am me, son of Brent, father of so-and-so.
Yeah.
Right. Like that whole connection to everything and what's important to you and what you love. Yeah, I get that. I
exactly.
Like that.
So it would either be that, or it would be, hey, we're the Allen family. What do? We love people. That is our mantra. We love people. People matter. People are the number one thing. We are concerned about people over all else. I don't care if I'm right. What does this do for people? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We are about people in this family. And we I would be okay with either one of those two as an answer, right? Love people.
But I also love never start a fight, but always finish it.
Hey, that's a great one for my now 10-year-old. That's an appropriate lesson for him.
Yeah.
Right? I love it. Never start a fight. But I love that that's what played out in the fight. Like Sheridan's like, look, I'm not going to start this. You're going to come in here. You're going to run on this. I'm going to make you throw the first punch. But if you throw the first punch, I will throw the last punch.
Yeah.
You know,
there was some, I forget. I don't remember the movie. It might've been Breakfast Club. I'm probably wrong, but somebody's like, yeah, we're going to fight. He's like, if we do this, there's going to be 2 hits, me hitting you hitting the floor. Right. And I remember too, it was my grandpa who told me, he's like, no, there should always be 3. There should be the one they throw that you dodge, then the one where you hit them, and the one where they hit the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still like that. There'll be 2 hits. That sounds pretty rough.
So Sheridan talks with his dad, makes a decision. He's processing all of this. He's wadding up the martial law order in the last episode and throwing it away. And he gets to a spot where he has to look at his command staff. His guys, they're coming for us. They are coming for us. They are going to arrest us. Now we can either surrender and they'll court-martial us, or we can fight, and if we lose, they're going to execute us. And he said, he appealed to this, which I thought sounded cool, but in reality is not cool, because I think the rest of the people would be like, I don't care what you promised her. He said, I promised Delenn that we would draw a line and be a thing of like, and if I'm sitting there like Franklin, I'm like, dude, I don't care what you promised Delenn. let's talk about us. Like,
well, and frankly, in the face of Earth Force coming to blow you sky high, the whole light versus dark thing just sounded corny and cheesy. It's like, I get that's important to you, dude. No one else at this point.
Yeah, but you know what made it sound way cooler? When you go, the line must be drawn here, and no further. That made it sound cool.
Then Ivanova says, "You broke your little ship." I'm writing yours on that one.
Fair enough.
But I loved though, because he gave them a chance to enroll in what he was doing, and then 2 times in CNC he gave people a chance to walk away, and be cool, and one dude did. Like the second time he's.
Did you see the look of disgust on Bruce Boxleitner's face when he
and Ivanova too? Yeah, they're both just like the guy. I mean, good for him. He took his headset off. He walked out, but they both watched him just like, you scum of the earth.
Yeah,
garbage. Yeah.
I need to have that conversation with that guy. Like, dude, what? Do you not understand what's going on here? I mean, I guess people could still sit there and be like, no, but we swore an oath, and he's the guy, and that's what I'm following, and.
But it all goes back to what he said a couple episodes ago. There's respect for the office, and then there's respect for the person in the office, and those are 2 very different things.
Yeah. Oh, you must have been a guy who voted for him. Okay.
But again, I think I said it last week. I'll say it again. Ivanova totally dropped the ball on Corwin.
Yeah.
You know, hey, I asked him 2 questions. He answered it the way anyone would, so he's not in. He was totally in. And I feel like he had a fire, like during that fight when he's calling out what was going on, like he was in it.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. This has not been a great season for Ivanova.
Ivanova is not who Ivanova has been. You know what I mean? Like, you think of season 1 of Ivanova, even beginning of season 2, where she's like, look, if you guys don't like it, I'm going to throw you in an airlock and I'm going to open up the seal and we'll see who likes it then.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, she I do hope you're going to resist. Ivanova is God. I am not just kidding. God. Like, that's the Ivanova. That Ivanova does not exist right now.
No.
You know, she's worried about Marcus hitting on her too much. And honestly, she's just doing her job. Like, that's her lines are her job.
And not even doing it well. Again, like the Corwin thing, that was not done well.
Right.
You know, and she's been given some diplomatic things that she stumbled into to make work.
Well, and I go back to, you remember that dude that she was supposed to sign an alliance with, and like you wanted to sleep with her at the end of Seal?
Yeah, the Lumati, I think it was.
Yeah, something like that. And she just had to act like an absolute buffoon. I almost feel like since then, like she's just lost her edge. And I want her to get it back. You know?
Well, I think she got a piece of it in this episode when she's like, I need to go out with the Starfury crew.
Okay. So was that the right call for Ivanova or not? What do you think?
So you can defend both sides. I can as well, but I think it was the right call.
Okay. Let's go with why do you think it was the right call first? No, sorry. Take that back. Why was it the wrong call first?
It was the wrong call because it puts her, an important person in the command structure of everything that's going on, at extreme risk. And it also undercuts whomever is commanding the Starfury squadrons.
That was
basically saying, it's basically saying, hey, when it's day to day, you're great, but right now it matters. So I need to step in and take this over. Like that's the reason to not do that.
Right. And that was honestly my reason for not doing it, was that whole squadron has a commander, and that commander has worked their way up to that. And it's not, listen, in a moment like this, I'm not worried about your feelings, Jack. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Ivanova was not there to command the troops. Her presence was there for one of solidarity of, hey, we're not going to ask you guys to go do anything that we're not going to do ourselves.
Exactly.
And we're going to be on the battlefield with you. And that's good. I'm with you on that, because nobody likes that guy sitting up in the office in the ivory tower, just being safe while we're the ones putting ourselves online. I'm going to be here with you. Her taking the command like that, although it may have been right given, the hierarchy. But one of the things I know from watching sci-fi, now I don't know if this works out in the real Navy or not, Jeff, you can enlighten me, but in sci-fi, when an admiral comes on the ship and the highest person is normally a captain, the ship is still the captain's.
Mm-hmm.
Now the admiral can come in and countermand orders and go over the captain's head, but typically the admiral still lets the captain command the ship, right? The only person Ivanova should have then actually been talking to should have been whoever their fleet commander was, you know, in that moment. Or I don't know how it works. I'm not out there in Starfury. Those guys are moving so fast. You don't have time to play nice with people's feelings. I get it.
Well, I think I thought of her in this scene as a flag, right? You know, I mean, you think about the old like Revolutionary War battles, and there was always the flag bearer and the drummer, you know, and the fife next to them, you know, playing a song, holding the flag. They weren't shooting anybody. They weren't fought. They were literally just like holding up the thing that says, "Hey, that's what we're fighting for."
Yeah,
right there. I can dig deeper. That was her role in this, or should have been her role.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not commanding anything. If anything, building up the command. Commander says, get on my 6, do this, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, yeah, great job. You know, whatever. Cheerleading in whatever context makes sense in that really hot dogfight kind of mentality. But her role is basically saying, hey, all of you have agreed to essentially counter an order from the commander in chief. Not only are you putting yourselves at risk physically in this battle, but if we win and get out of this, your career is on the line.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there with you on the front line. And I think that's, we've seen that with Zelensky in Ukraine. He's not necessarily fighting. He's not necessarily giving orders, but he's walking the front line and he's talking to soldiers and he's being there as a flag to remind them what they're fighting for. That's what I felt. I was all for Ivanova doing it until she started issuing some orders. But then when she had to eject, she bought what she bought with that moment. And it wasn't intentional, right? Like literally she was distracted by what was going on and then had the collision and everything went south from there. But for her to have had to eject in battle and come back in, that Starfury team will straight murder anyone and will take any bullet for her because she died for them essentially.
Right. I got to tell you, when she did that, I 100% thought she was about to get captured.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I really thought that she was going to wind up like in Earth Force clutches and they were going to run away with her or something like that.
Yeah. And then it turns into a personal like rescue mission. They waited way too long it wasn't even clear that she hit the eject button, right? Like she was getting ready to, and then her ship
I saw her reach up. Like as soon as she reached up, I was pretty confident that's what she did.
Me, I was like, so she reached up, she was getting ready, then her ship blew up. And then it was like 5-8 some odd minutes before they were like, oh yeah, she's in med. Like no one even mentioned her. And it would have been great if someone was just like, I don't know, as soon as things settled down and been like, we're scooping up the people who ejected. We got Ivanova. She's headed to med lab. Oh, okay, cool. But it went on a long time of just like, did she make it? Like what happened?
Is she okay? What are we doing here?
Are we going to lose Garibaldi and Ivanova in this thing? Like, I felt like Sheridan missed an opportunity. So at the end of the episode, right, he's talking to Major Hayes, and Hayes is like, hey, we're going to take care of, Hiroshi's crew and all that stuff. And then as they're walking out, he's like, hey, you're forgetting something, because he didn't have his uniform on. It's like, nope, can't wear it.
Saw that coming. 100% saw that coming. Yeah.
Everyone else was wearing them.
Which I thought was that.
Yep, I thought was really poor taste. But what I wish would have happened is when he was doing his address to everybody using the Draw's hologram thing. Yeah, is he's walking through the Declaration of Independence, and when he got to the line that said he seceded, I wish he would have reached over and pulled off his Earth Force insignia at that moment, just a punctuation mark. And then I wish again, everyone who stuck around took it off, and the whole rest of the episode is people with their stat bar and no Earth Force Alliance thing on their lapel or on their chest. That would have been big. But the last scene to be everyone there wearing their Earth Force uniform with their Earth Force insignia felt pretty disingenuous.
It did. It's something weird. Like on the other side of it, I still think that they feel very Earth Force. They're still connected to Earth. In fact,
Mhm.
even in his secession speech, what he said was, we are going to be an independent state until Clark is removed from office. And then we're right back.
Yeah.
Like, we're still a part of this, you know? And
yeah, in fact, it's not them who are leaving Earth Force. They see President Clark as the one who has left.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so I kind of see why they would have kept that on. Also, what other uniform do they have right now?
Right. They've got their little Mater D outfits from the pilot episode.
Right.
I felt like it was pretty like heavy hand. He kept throwing around the term unconstitutional.
Yeah.
And I think for us in I'll say a post 9/11 world, as we talk about things like the Patriot Act and blah, 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 and these things, that term constitutional and unconstitutional carries a big weight for it. So I went and did a little bit of research on martial law in the United States. So this is through a United States constitutional and legal lens. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but in the United States in the early or after the Civil War in the late 19th century, there was a lot of concern about the government powers and throwing the military in to go basically run martial law. So they passed a law called the Insurrection Act. And in the Insurrection Act, it defines when and how and puts a lot of boundaries around when the president can activate the military against American citizens on American soil. So you can declare martial law, but it is excruciatingly specific as to how and when. It's been challenged a number of times in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has upheld what's in the Insurrection Act. And that was it was updated about 10 years ago, I think. They amended it a little bit and just added more clarity to a point where, like, back 3 years ago, when after George Floyd was murdered and there were the riots and things going on, and then President Trump was like, we're going to send the National Guard out and we're going to activate the military. He would not have legally been allowed to send the military. Like, it wouldn't have lined up with what was in the Insurrection Act. So we couldn't even do that. So through the lens of the United States, Sheridan's 100% right. Clark cannot dissolve the Senate. Clark cannot turn on citizens, like bombing Mars. Like, you can't bomb citizens on Mars. You can't do that. That's unconstitutional. So through that lens, legally, maybe Major, what's his name? Major Ryan is like the ranking Earth official at this point, really.
Major Ryan?
Yeah, because it would have been General Haig, right? But General Haig's dead, and now it's Major Ryan.
But now it would be Captain Sheridan or Captain Hiroshi or someone of that nature.
Like, well, Major's above them.
A major is above a captain?
Yeah, apparently. Didn't you see the little, like, all the stuff on his lapel?
Major's above a captain?
No, but apparently. Depends on how you're shaking your stuff out. I saw Major Ryan as being the superior.
It is, but captain's a low rank in the Air Force.
Yeah, in the Air Force, Army, Marines, captain is basically a full lieutenant in the Navy.
But in the Navy, captain's a captain.
Captain is a full bird colonel, essentially, in the Navy. Yeah, we talked about this here a little bit ago.
All due respect to our military, can they align their words?
Seriously.
Word is different things. Like, let's align our words or just get different words. That'd be cool with that. Yeah. I probably just pissed off like all the military people out there, or they're all like, yes, please,
for goodness sake.
One of the two. But Sheridan's speech on the Hollow, which, by the way, this is the first time I have ever seen somebody be on a Hollow like that, like this big, huge, gigantic, I'm delivering a speech, and have that be a good guy.
Right.
That's always a bad guy move right there.
Yeah. And it was awesome. It was amazing. And clearly everybody was for it. That final scene of the episode of everyone clapping for them on the Zocalo, like, he has united this group. But I think, and this is kind of my last thought on all of this, was they dropped this one little piece at the end of, hey, we got the prisoners rounded up. We're sending everybody away, except the people who we don't know are Night Watch or whatever. And I think Sheridan even says, he's like, we're going to have some sabotage. We got to watch out here for a while.
Yeah. They had a line of Night Watch people getting kicked out
with their armbands on and everything.
And so here's the thing. Is there not a spot where you look at those folks and you say, hey, I'm going to give you one chance to drop that armband. If you want to go back, you can go back. But if you want to stay and you're a part of this, like, do you not give them that opportunity to do that?
I don't think so. Not at this point. I think that opportunity was last week when they were lined up with SG1 and Zach.
Okay, fair enough. So apparently what is Babylon 5 to Earth? Let me ask you that. Why can they declare independence? Because they're a station. Are they considered a colony? Like I could see a colony declaring independence. An outpost, maybe not so much. And I would think that Babylon 5 would fall way more into an outpost rather than a colony. Like,
I think about, like, is Fort Dix going to say, we're our own independent state now?
Right. Except Fort Dix doesn't have 250,000 people on it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not that big. And really what we learned in And Now for a Word and a couple other episodes in there, really Babylon 5 was just a money sink as far as a lot of people saw. It's just a dangerous place with a waste of taxpayer dollars. Yeah. I actually found it interesting when the Minbari showed up, and I think it was Captain Drake says, or somebody said, you have no authority here. Like, we don't recognize your authority or something. Like, I very keenly remember the Minbari throwing money at Babylon 5 to make it a thing, being a part of the selection committee for Sinclair, and like there was a lot of things the Minbari had to do with this. Was that just like one lump sum payment? Was it like, we're going to give you X million credits so we can pick your commanding officer and then we're out and it's all on you, Earth Force? Or I think there were still questions, because ultimately, God, if I'm Babylon 5 and I've just seceded from Earth, we now have 0 credits. Hopefully everyone's cool working for free. Those dock workers sure haven't been.
Your money no longer means anything now.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to have to make our own. I mean, that was the same thing. Again, forgive me to our international folks. I know our history. When the American Revolution happened, they had to figure out money. That was a thing. Like, what do we do? How does this work? Is it actually going to be worth anything? You just mentioned Captain Drake. Okay. Now I don't know how often you pay attention to these names. Like, there's the Churchill and the Alexander, and then there was the Roanoke and all this, but you had Captain Drake come in. Do you know who Drake is in real life? I wonder if this was a real connect for JMS. If he did this on purpose.
I didn't connect anything.
So there. Sir Francis Drake was a sea ship captain that was a privateer. Now, privateer is just a fancy word for a legal pirate. Okay. And he would go out there, and he was a bad mutta. Like, this guy would go out and do not great stuff, but he had conscription papers from, I want to say it was the King or Queen of England, that said, what you're doing is fine as long as you don't do it to our people. Right. But all those other folks out there that are doing it, they're like, no, you're actually just a pirate. So depending on who you're looking at, Drake was either a hero or he was a criminal. This Drake who's coming in, depending on who he was, who's talking to him, is either like a pirate who's going to jack you up, or he's the hero.
Coming in to take down Babylon 5, the evil, seditious Babylon 5. Yeah.
I don't know if JMS meant that when he named him this, but I see it kind of fitting. I like it.
That is kind of cool. And I don't think he's one to just throw a name out for the sake of having a name. We talked about that with Maccabees dude, way back with the Night Watch. Like, these are intentional names that he's choosing. Yeah. I like that.
So, okay, let's where we are in plot, because I think we need to move on. Babylon 5 has now declared its independence. They have won the first battle. That does not mean that all the battles are over. Like, I would be shocked if they had to keep dealing with Earth Force sending ships out to try to retake Babylon 5. Like that, honestly, that would be a plot line that would just get really old really fast from a drama perspective. Like, like they've got to move on. Spoiler alert, the next episode probably has to be, okay, now we're an independent state. What do we do now? It has to go into that question is what I think there. And I think next week's episode is going to be a come down off of the intensity of this episode. That's just my guess. But still, Earth Force just can't be like, oh, okay, we're just going to let you go. They're not going to let them just go. Right? Is this?
I think it's going to get dirtier now, because if those Minbari vessels stick around, they can't send ships, and Earth knows that. Yeah. So this is going to turn into
are the Minbari presenting a blockade?
That's
a protective blockade on
in front of the wormhole.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll mine it.
Oh, geez, Jeff. Oh, I wasn't even going there. You went there. I wasn't even going there for that.
I did. I went there. I gave myself the buzz. But I do think they're going to stick around, and so we're going to get more. I think Sheridan said it at the end. We're going to get more sabotage. We're going to get more tension. There's going to be more questions about, is this someone that we can trust? They've sown some seeds around the Narn, and who are the Narn going to be okay with this? And so I think that's going to be some of it. It's going to be more of that dark tension that we have to deal with.
All right. So they're an independent state. That's what we've. What is Sheridan going to become now?
Well, he's the governor. He even said he's like as the military governor of this. So yeah, he's like.
So I mean, I'm just
despot.
I'm sorry. I'm just pulling this. I'm pulling this from our own history. Is he going to become a president? Like, are they going to establish a constitution and he becomes a president? Or will they do elections and maybe it's not Sheridan and he stays as the military guy and there's somebody else who becomes the president and we barely ever see them on the show, just like another sci-fi show that we do?
Well, I think if President Clark and Earth don't go down, then I could see it going there. But then we get Battlestar Galactica, right? That turned into a big political, who's this and who's running that, and
right.
So I don't know if we'll go there. I think it's just going to be Sheridan's the man. Like he's the guy in charge. Right. All hail the Sheridan, and it's cool.
All right. Last thing I had. Holy hell, that was a lot of Starfuries out there in the battle. I was like, wow, I didn't know there was that many out there.
When there was the Alexander and the Churchill were kind of next to each other, and they're like, launch the fighters. It was just like this cotton whoosh, like a garden, like a fire hose of Starfuries flying out there.
I gotta say, I really hope moving forward that we meet some of the Churchill Starfury pilots and that they maintain some sort of a difference from the Babylon 5 Starfury pilots, or that there's something about them integrating. And oh, Jeff, can I borrow one?
I got one. Yeah, you can have
it. Can I have it?
I think I have one, but I'll say, yeah, you can have one.
Okay.
Because I know where you're going.
I hope this isn't a Maquis Voyager thing where all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're all good. These groups need to come together, and they're not going to have animosity towards each other. At least they shouldn't. Not like the way the Maquis and the Voyager crew did. But I want to see no, we are actually from the Churchill group. Not just, all right, we're here on Babylon 5 now, so now we're Babylon 5. Like, they just lost their ship and all their buddies and their captain. They lost everything. Those folks need to deal with that and not just be okay being on Babylon 5 now, filling out their dead ranks.
I think it might be more like Battlestar Galactica. I've referenced Battlestar Galactica a lot.
You have. You're making me want to go rewatch that show now.
I know, it's so good. There was the little mini movie they did, and then it led to some people on board. They found the other Battlestar, the one that I don't have any references left.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I forget the name of it, but some of them joined the crew of Battlestar Galactica. And they had this ongoing stuff like, well, on our ship we did things like this, I think especially within the flight groups they had some of that. So that would be cool to kind of have some of those ongoing pieces.
All right, Jeff. Well, I think we have officially come down to it. And even if not, we're at an hour and 50 minutes. We need to get
a lot of hours in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had a couple of these back to back. So anyway, it's time to boil this all down and see if the show has any of that Star Trekky quality to it that we keep looking for. Is there a deep moral message? Is there a mirror to society? Are we giving us hope that we can be better in the future? Jeff, I'm going to start this by rating us on a scale of 0 to 5 deltas as far as how quote unquote Star Trek this episode is. And you get the fun one. You get to rate 0 to 5 Starfuries as far as how much we enjoyed this episode. I'll go first with the deltas. We've talked a bit about it, but there was one line to me that stands out above the rest, and it hovered over the entire episode. This wasn't a throwaway line. Okay. A lot of times we get a Star Trek line and it just sort of slips in there and then they move on. But this really, I think, hovered over the whole thing. Sheridan says at one point, our humanity got us into this, and it will be our humanity that gets us out. Our flaws, our fatalness, our selfishness, all the gross stuff that comes with just being human, because we're not perfect. We as a race are a race of flawed individuals. Every single one of us. Not a one of us is perfect. There might have been that one guy if you're in that spot, but not a one of us is perfect, right? But at the same time, that same thing that makes us flawed people is also the thing that you can hang your hat on. It is also the thing that gives you hope to be better in the future. One of the things I loved about going through Beam Me Up was going through the series. And was it when we got to Enterprise? I want to say is when we got to Enterprise. And what you realize is the universe was a mess. The Vulcans were a mess. The Klingons were a mess. Everybody was a mess until Earth came on the scene. Now, we were young, we were stupid, we were a little cavalier, but it was when Earth got on the scene, the Earth ships, that all of a sudden we started to be able to shift and move towards a better us in the future. Right? Some people accepted it and accepted the challenge, like the Vulcans, because the Vulcans, particularly in the early seasons of Enterprise, were jerks. They were not good people. Objectively, they were bad people. They were not this ideal Vulcan that we see when we first meet Spock back in 1960 something or other, right? There's the war going on between them and the Andorians. The Tellarites are just out doing whatever the heck they are. But it was humanity that brought everybody together, right? The humans are the hope of the future, that because we have this capacity, yes, of flawedness of being able to do evil, we also have this capacity of being really good and being a powerful, positive influence. And that, I think, is what Sheridan / JMS was appealing to with this line. It is our humanity that got us into this, but it's also going to be our humanity that gets us out, because we're not going to start the fight. We'll finish it, but we're not going to start it. We're going to care about people. We're going to value people, and not just humans, but we're going to value all life, right? Jeff, that is quintessentially the whole Star Trek thing. The Minbari are going to come to the rescue. Like, we're going to come together because we're working together. You now think about where we are now, Jeff. You've got the humans that are on board Babylon 5 working with the Narns, who are now part of the security force. And now you have the Minbari, who have stepped up, adding protection to to the whole deal. The Centauri are out there still kind of going off half cocked. We don't know anything about them. The non-aligned worlds are kind of mismatched. They're kind of a little here, a little not there. But the main ones are there, and obviously the Vorlons are in on this whole thing as well. Like they're keeping an arm's distance, but you know, we've seen Kosh now insert himself a few times. You know, the station is becoming what it set out to be. Right? It's not just, hey, Earth is running this. The humans are running everything, and you guys are just coming here playing in our backyard. The station is becoming more integrated among all its people. And I love that. Right? I love that. That to me is a great, great Star Trek message. So much of this episode was pew, pew, pew. So much of this episode was action, 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 action. But I think this one idea, if you look at it that way, that our humanity got us into this, sure it did, but it's also going to help us get us out. That pervaded everything throughout this whole deal. That pervaded Delenn going to talk to the Great Council. That pervaded Sheridan talking to his dad. That pervaded the big, scary holographic bad guy image where he declared his own independence. That did the way that they chose to fight, the way that they accept the orphaned Starfury pilots from the Churchill now at the end, to the people clapping with Sheridan at the end. So with that, Jeff, this gives me a solid 3.5 Starfuries. It's not bang you over the head with all the Star Trek stuff, but it is front and center. It is right up there. And then there was a lot of pew, 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 pew.
I'm going to challenge you a little bit.
Do it.
And I'm going to do it with 4 words: infinite diversity in infinite combinations. I guess that's 5 words, right? IDIC, which is really one of the foundational pieces of Star Trek. And what it basically says is that you can only create true beauty, which is a theme through Babylon 5.
Yeah.
But true beauty, true strength through diversity. In fact, even the symbol, the IDIC symbol, which is a circle made out of one type of material that's smooth and whatever, a triangle made out of a different kind of metal that's bumpy and kind of rough with a jewel in the middle. It takes different things to create amazing pieces. And that the theme of this entire episode was that when left alone, when in complete darkness, they found beauty in their diversity. So Kosh, way back in there, I think it was there all the other honor lie. I don't remember a lot of the season 2 ones, but when he took him to, hey, even in darkness, there's beauty to be found. He took Sheridan and showed him that. We saw that in action here. And this is part of my Starfury piece as well on how Babylon 5 everything was. But it took infinite diversity to beat the unbeatable force. And that scene with everyone on the Zocalo clapping, what struck me in that scene wasn't that everyone was cheering for the little command group and for Sheridan. It was that there were Drazi there cheering. There were Narn there cheering. There were.
I was wondering, guys, I really didn't see, but I was also I was looking at that poster in the background before they gave us a close up of it.
That poster was a big thing, but that sea of people that they were able to get, that I'm sure was a bunch of crew, whatever, and they put like a little bit of makeup on, but that was a very diverse group of people of multiple races, species, and factions that came together, and that's how they've been able. That's why they could succeed. That's why they could push back Earth Force, because they flexed infinite diversity and infinite combinations and created beauty in darkness. So I don't know if that's worth more deltas to you.
Oh, is it worth more deltas? I see. So here's an interesting thing, because I hear everything you're saying. I think we said basically the same thing, because what is infinite diversity and infinite combinations with humans and all these aliens? That is a metaphor for infinite diversity, infinite combinations here on Earth right now with humanity. Given all the different people groups, all the political groups, all the religious groups, everything that makes us different. And Jeff, you said it amazingly just a second ago. we work best in diversity, right? Like bringing that together. That is, and when Sheridan said, yeah, our humanity got us in this, but it's our humanity that will get us out. It's us being able to come bring everybody together. That's the thing that's going to get us out. That's infinite diversity and infinite combinations, just without the Star Trek reference words that you said. I will do this though, because I agree with you. And I struggled with where I really try not to just go, 5 deltas. It's all there. So I may have graded it. I've always been I'm a teacher. I will say this. I think I'm a great teacher. I'm also a tough grader. I've always been a tough grader. I will give you another half delta and make this a 4 delta episode.
Love it. On the other hand, on the other hand, I'm going to do the thing you're avoiding. Just say this is 5 Starfuries
because that's what it is, right?
Yeah. If you're on the audio piece, this is different. But right now on YouTube, we just crossed the 2-hour mark, and all we've been talking about is how incredible, how amazing, how fun, how challenging, how great this episode was.
Just predict something for me, Jeff, right now.
Okay.
For the audio folk, we don't usually do stuff exclusive to the audio folk. The YouTube folk won't ever get this at all. When you go in and you make all your edits and you suck out all the pauses and everything like that, we're right at 2 hours right now. Where is this in the audio feed? Make your guess.
This will be at 1:42.
Okay.
That's my guess.
All right. People, I want you to go back, subtract 1 minute from right now.
1:42. This is a long episode.
I know it is. Subtract 1 minute from where you guys are right now, and then tweet us at and tell us where this one's at.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. 5 Starfuries. Awesome episode. So, Jeff, 2 more things and then we're out of here. Just like last season, we are creating the absolute 100% completely accurate definitive ranking of season 3 Babylon 5. The question is, where are you going to put Severed Dreams? You get to place it this week. 2 weeks ago, you said, hey, we're going to put Messages from Earth at number 1, although I suspect it's only going to be there for 1 week. You were absolutely right. Last week, I replaced Messages from Earth with Point of No Return, and that was the correct move. The question is, are you going to replace Point of No Return and only give that 1 week in the number 1 slot, as good of an episode as that was, and replace it with Severed Dreams? Bearing in mind, Point of No Return is the titular episode of season 3.
This should be an easy answer. It is not. And I have been, literally since I took my notes earlier today, I have been stressed out about this moment. I'll just tell you, right from this is number 1 or it's number 2. This is literally a question of where it goes in relation to Point of No Return. And so we look at this in 2 ways. How Babylon 5 is this episode, and how much did we enjoy it?
Yep.
That's Starfuries, actually. So, but I'm going to use that as kind of a guide in ranking this, because holy crud, these 2 episodes, these 3 episodes, I would argue that to this point in the series, you don't get more Babylon 5 than these 3 episodes. I remember a season ago, almost exactly a season ago, when The Coming of Shadows, when we did that episode, and the community was incredible. They were in unison of, this episode is Babylon 5. Like, this is what you do. And at that point, 100%. At that point, but then in the Shadows, Doom kind of eclipsed it, and if I remember in our ranking, it kind of fell in outside of the top 5 in that. I think these 3 are much more Babylon 5 than even that.
This is definitely, Jeff, where Babylon 5 stands on its own. There is zero need to compare Babylon 5 to anything else. Now, we often say we're not comparing it to Star Trek. We're just using that analytical lens to see what messages lie within. And I still hold that. But I mean, this is Babylon 5 standing shoulder to shoulder with Star Trek, Stargate, Battlestar Galactica, Star Wars. Yes, it's shoulder to shoulder with all Doctor Who, all of them.
Well, we 100%. Made all those references. Like, we used up all of our Star Trek references. I used up twice as many Battlestar Galactica references. We brought in Stargate. We brought in Star Wars. We brought in all those because this is this big. And in fact, I think that's helped me make my decision.
Can I stump one more thing? Just one more thing? We have been predicting for 10 episodes now something that was going to happen. This is the episode where it finally pays off. And you know what? There is no better feeling when something that you have been looking for and predicting actually pays off. Yes, there is a thing about usurping expectations, but also sometimes you just got to give people the stick that you've been dangling in front of them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And this was the episode that everything before this episode led to this episode, including the last two episodes.
Indirectly so, everything. And I think there's two big things that are going to land on my final ranking for this. One, what we said very early, either in this episode or even before we went on mic, I forget which, but that was, you could show this episode to someone who had never watched Babylon 5 before, and they would be hooked. They wouldn't have all the answers. It wouldn't be, the end all be all, but this would hook them into the series. And two, like I shared, my wife, who is not a fan of Babylon 5,
right,
was moved by the big the big secession in this episode.
Yeah.
Brent, Severed Dreams is the number one episode of season 3 so far.
I literally added that to our ranking about 3 minutes ago.
You know me so well.
Well, after 56 episodes,
Right. Well, hey, Brent, that's it for Severed Dreams. Next week, we're going to watch another episode. I think we're going to drop out of this little arc that we've been in. And all we know at this point is the name of the episode. It is Ceremonies of Light and Dark. So all we know is the title. The game we like to play here is we're going to guess what the episode's going to be about based on that only. So Brent, what do you think Ceremonies of Light and Dark is going to be about?
Well, I said earlier in this episode that this has to be about Babylon 5 now figuring out how to live as an independent state. Maybe they figure out what the Constitution looks like and what does it mean? Like, what are they going to be? Are they still just going to be an ambassadorial space station? Are they now a military thing? Like what are they? Because they still have 250,000 people living there, right? But Ceremonies of Light and Dark, I really want to try to be careful not to just be drawn in by a title because we know sometimes that doesn't matter. But when, I think of Ceremonies of Light and Dark, we talk about being the separating line between light and dark, but also there's a lot of dead people on the ship right now, or the station right now. And we're talking about ceremonies of stuff. I think that this is going to be a post-war or post-battle get everybody back together. Like, we might see some funerals. That's the ceremony of dark. That's the sad stuff. We might see I don't know if there's relationships that might break because of this,
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also ceremonies of light. We mentioned maybe Sheridan becomes a president,
right?
Or something like that. Like, what are the ceremonies that now need to happen? Because are Sheridan and Delenn going to get married because now they're partners?
That'd be so fast. That'd be so fast.
Oh, they are slow playing this relationship. There's absolutely no way that happens. I don't even know if they're going to get married by the end, but they're going to be a couple before the whole thing's said and done.
Oh yeah.
The way he pulled her in at the end of this episode, like, he didn't do that to anybody else.
And she's hanging on him.
Yeah. Like, he kissed her hand when she tried to like shake it, and he was like, anyway. But I think this is going to be a lot of the cleaning up the fallout. And I think maybe the figuring out how the station runs might be the episode after that. But okay. I think this is the immediate, like, bring out the broom. We got to clean this up now. What do you think?
So I agree at the high level. This is about cleaning things up and moving forward. But I think this is going to focus on Delenn. I think that she has broken the council. She's got the warrior cast that are upset. And so I think when I hear the light and dark, and Delenn even invoked that, we are all that stands between the candle and the star.
Yeah.
That, that place of the gray. So I think that the 4 that didn't walk away on the council, who I'm assuming are the warrior cast, are going to invoke some sort of a rite. And this will be, like a trial for Delenn and the council members that left. That will ultimately, what it will do is codify the break of the council. And then this is a new thing I hadn't even considered before you brought it up. We'll set the warrior cast on the path to ally with the shadows, and then bring the rest of the Minbari under the Babylon 5 umbrella.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I really do think that the warrior cast is going to wind up with the shadows.
Yeah, they're bad guys.
They have to.
Totally.
I mean, that's that. You talk about the Minbari breaking. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah.
Drawl said it. He's like, I don't even recognize Minbari anymore. Right.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out next week. Thank you all so much for joining us. Please don't forget to follow us or subscribe wherever you're listening. And if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't already, please stop by Apple Podcasts, leave us or Good Pods like we talked about earlier here, or anywhere else. Leave us a rating, a review, and I'll read it right here on the podcast. So until next time.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, Brent.
You know, it's strange. I'm not getting a match on your identicard over here.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal, dude. Like, you know who I am.
Of course I know who you are. It's the computer that's the problem.
Hey, no. Look,
Listen.
No,
I've got other people waiting behind you. Just step aside, please.
Peace, victory, and long life.
This is my first time.
What's up, Club 65? You know, Jeff, we didn't even talk about that opening sequence at all. And it was one of the funniest sequences of the whole thing.
It was so great.
I loved that whole sequence.
I must have messed up on the data entry. You know, I mean, we are very inefficient.
Yeah. I mean, he's just blowing his mouth off. And then all of a sudden he's like right there. And Narn dude's like, hey, I heard every word of that.
Yeah.
Also, oh my gosh, like it cracked me up. He's Londo's just in there bending this dude's ear, and dude, like, he gives like this really bad eye roll, and he's like, you know, but like, I'm just sitting there like, dude, the casting director must have been like, he's going to talk to you. You don't say a fucking word. You don't talk. You don't do anything. I am paying you $50 for your day here as an extra and not a penny more. Don't say a word.
I was thinking
that guy was like, he was doing everything he could to keep his mouth shut.
I was thinking so much about how, like, so my daughter's done some acting stuff and is doing some workshops and some classes, and a big part of that's memorizing monologues. And monologues are hard. It's you and the camera a lot of the time. And when you haven't been acting long, it's tough. And I was just thinking about, like, for Peter Jurasik, how awesome it was to basically be able to do a monologue to somebody. You know, he's like, dude, I can just look you in the eye. You can react. I got somebody to play off of, and you can't say anything.
Right.
That was great.
Hey, Club 65, if you guys are all the way out here and you're doing this, you guys rock.
Seriously.
This is
2 weeks in a row, Brent.
Hours. Did we hit 2 hours last week?
We did. Yeah,
Did we
just
really?
over. So, like, this is God, I would say when this is done, when we wrap this up, people will have about probably a little over 4 hours, 20 some odd minutes of us in 2 weweeks, not to count your reactions.
That's crazy.
And mine on the Patreon as well.
You guys are amazing. I'm sorry for going so long, but I mean, there was so much in this episode, Jeff. So much. And you said to me at the beginning, I don't even have that many notes. I was like, I don't either.
I didn't have a lot, but there's a lot to dive into, even in the couple of notes.
Yeah. So we're going to get out of here and let you guys go. So thank you guys so much. Drop 65 down in the comments so that we know you're here. You guys are awesome. We love you. Peace and long life.
Yeah, exactly. And victory.
Victory.